Yo! What's up, diggity dogs? I just made a mess in the other room. High five!
You're watching Fugitive Red-Eye, and welcome to another rant/random thoughts. That's right, another random thoughts. Here we go with this one. And as you guessed from the title here, this one is about modern gaming and why it sucks. And I've talked about this in a Red-Eye Raw before. One of the original Red-Eye Raws before it became primarily a stream and was mostly just short little videos. So it's been a couple of years, and there's some points I want to expand upon. I thought it was just worth doing a whole other video on. I think the vast majority of any sane people typically agree that modern gaming is not what gaming used to be. But I wanted to talk about sort of my reasoning on why I think it sucks now. As you guys know, I don't really like a lot of new things, and that's been no secret. It's been a pretty major talking point on this channel. And there's the obvious reasons, right? Like the propaganda, the overtly political cringe woke shit put into games, all the current day bullshit, and all the fucking dumb shit that they put in to push the message rather than making a good game. But that's far from the only reason. That's just scratching the surface as to why video games are fucking dead now and why I have, like, no fucking interest in them. Another reason is that everything is a fucking endless remake now, right? They just keep remaking things or re-releasing things. It's such a common trend now. I did a media opinions on this a while back about game remakes and my sort of full, nuanced opinion of it. Because I'm not, wholesale against game remakes. However, it is such a common trend that I'm getting fucking sick and tired of it with how fucking cynical and soulless a lot of these remakes are. Many games come out that completely strip away any aesthetic or soul that the older versions of the games had. And the worst part is it leads a lot of people who have never played the original to play these new ones and just form their opinion on the game based on that. Things like Silent Hill 2 Remake completely strips away the aesthetic and a lot of the more creepy aspects of many different features in the game. Now, keep in mind, I'm saying this all secondhand. I've never actually played the game, and I'm not going to pretend that I have. But everything I've seen from it looks fucking awful. And I've only recently played Silent Hill 2, and the version I played was already inferior. I was playing the HD collection. But at least the HD collection is just a re-release, albeit an inferior one, of the original Silent Hill 2. And, not only are there remakes, but you just get, constant re-releases. I mean, look at what they're doing with fucking Fallout 4 and Skyrim. They've released Skyrim so many fucking times, and, they make it so that your fucking mods don't work in older versions and shit a lot of the time when they release these new versions. I haven't booted up Skyrim in a fat minute on the channel, but from what Corbin was telling me, you have to buy a whole new version of the game to use mods anymore. So does that just mean that my save that I was doing on stream is fucked? Because I was playing as a Falmer. I was using a mod to play as a fucking snow elf. Not to mention I had a werebore transformation. I had fucking guns. I had a bunch of retarded shit in it because that was, kind of the appeal of playing Skyrim with mods was to make it funny. Hell, I remember when Fallout 4 had that first next-gen update, I was really worried that my mods wouldn't work. So I actually played it offline for a minute. But then, it automatically updates the second you're online with it unless you stop it and then go offline again. So eventually it did update. Luckily my mods were fine at the time. I don't know if they are now because I've heard, some bad things about this new update. And I still need to finish Nuka World before I finally do my Fallout 4 review. So yeah, not only do we gotta deal with remakes now, but we gotta deal with re-releases and anniversary editions and special editions and legendary editions. This is largely a Bethesda problem, but I doubt they're going to be the only one who does this. There's probably others that have done shit like this time and time again, but Bethesda's obviously the one who's mainly doing it right now. And I hate the fucking aesthetic of the Oblivion remaster. It's a fine way to play the game, but I have a lot of problems with the way it looks. And of course, it's got that retarded body type 1, body type 2 bullshit that a lot of new games have. But again, I think you get the gist of what I'm saying with the remake part. Another problem with modern gaming, and this is one that's very personal to me, is there's so much more of a focus on multiplayer. And online multiplayer is not the main draw for me in a video game. I'm much more of a single-player experience kind of guy. Hence why I tend to like RPGs and games with a story. Right? I tend to like games that are enjoyed on your own. And I do like there being multiplayer. I love Halo, and I love playing Halo, although Halo is a fucking dead franchise now. I mean, look at that fucking remake they're doing there. And the garbage we've had ever since 343 took over, and the garbage we're going to continue to have even with them rebranding as Halo Studios. Not to mention, online multiplayer just isn't as fun as it used to be. It was much more social back in the day. Everything's all fucking esports now. Like, to me, the iconic online multiplayer was back in the days of Halo 3, where you'd find a group of, like, 16 people playing custom games, and you'd play, like, Fat Boy or Baddies Sneak Up. That's kind of an obscure one. Baddies Sneak Up isn't one you see even on the custom games browser anymore. Like, you'll see Fat Kid, but you won't see Baddies Sneak Up so much anymore. Or, like, back when everybody played the Phantasy Star Universe demo, nobody gave a shit about the actual game. It was the social experience, which admittedly had a bunch of fucking scammers in it, but that was just part of the experience, was dealing with that. And it was more of like a place to kind of hang out with your friends online, more so than the game itself, because it was a demo that only let you access a couple of areas. Or like when I would play South Park Let's Go Tower Defense Play with my friends, and then we became the top 3 players on the leaderboard for years. But another problem you run into, which also has overlap with the multiplayer issue, is the fact that games don't have unlockables anymore. Now they have microtransactions. Like, the fact that in Halo Infinite, if you want fucking blue armor, you gotta pay multiple dollars for it, fuck that. Like, you literally have to pay for different colored armor, different helmets, shit like that. Things that in other games you would unlock. And it already was trending towards an unlock cycle that I didn't like as much. Because in the original Halo Reach, you still bought things, but it wasn't with real money. It was with in-game currency that you earned by completing challenges and such. Now, granted, there were prerequisites for some of them. Like, some of them you needed to be a certain rank, and there was even a few that you actually had to beat, like the game on Legendary and stuff, if I recall. Whereas in Halo 3, the challenge would just be how you unlocked it, right? Like, you got the EOD armor by beating Legendary, you got the katana by getting 1,000 gamer score, you got Recon by completing the Vidmaster achievements. In Mortal Kombat, you'd unlock characters by completing special challenges, reaching certain points in the story, cheat codes, all sorts of other little ways you did it, instead of having fucking combat passes where you have to buy new characters. And all the new characters in Mortal Kombat suck, by the way. Mortal Kombat's fucking lame as hell now. But speaking of achievements, that's another thing, right? Something as simple as unlocking an achievement doesn't have the same satisfaction as it used to. I'll admit I still achievement hunt, but one of the reasons that it's not as satisfying as it used to be is, number one, a lot of games don't really put any thought into them anymore. Number two, DLCs don't come with achievements anymore. And number three, the UI just makes looking at your achievements a fucking chore. To interact with half of your achievement shit, you have to be online most of the time. And then you have to open them up in like a whole separate menu. It's gotten better with Xbox, where you can actually pull it up and look at it on, like, the sidebar now. It used to be much worse, but it's still irritating if you want to look at, like, full things. Like, honestly, the snap guide that we had on the 360 was so much fucking better than having the whole dashboard. Like, I know it's technically faster, and it pulls up the whole dashboard, right, without having to close out of the game. But just having a little mini menu you could pull up and look at them on the 360 was so much better and so much cooler. Another thing that ties into the agenda thing is fucking normies infiltrating fan bases and ruining games. There's plenty of people who are not fans of these properties who want to change them. So they come in, try to get it to change, because they don't like it for what it is. And it's really frustrating when you see franchises cave to this. When you see shit like Running with Scissors making like posts on Twitter saying, "Postal Dude, whom we created, is not transphobic," when Postal is implicitly like the most fucking right-wing game ever and always fucking has been. And it's also funny, and like this is a little bit of a tangent, but it is funny how these people are like, "See, that psychotic murderer, he likes me, he wouldn't hate me for what I am. He wouldn't hate me for what I want to be." Like, you want a psychotic murderers now, like, when people, like, try to say, "Oh, this character likes gays and trannies," like, that's such a retarded thing. Like, it's like that scene in the Chucky show, where Chucky's, like, talking about how he doesn't hate gays. He's like, "Why would I? I had a non-binary kid." It's like, he's a fucking serial killer. This is the kind of people you want to fucking have as an ally, quote-unquote? Fucking retards, man. I actually plan on doing a video about Postal in that regard, and, like, gaming itself is kind of inherently a right-wing hobby, but, you know, like, normies have infested it and made it fucking gay as hell. Like, in the name of accessibility, things are too easy or babified now, and that doesn't mean that everything has to be fucking difficult. In fact, I rage quite a bit. I'm not very good at a lot of things, as you probably noticed on my streams. But a lot of things have, like, no satisfactory challenge, or they have a bunch of features that you can dumb down the game with, or things get dumbed down in general. Like, Look at Fallout 3 in New Vegas compared to Fallout 4. Look at the fucking shitty level-up system in Fallout 4. Like, I'm going back to Bethesda, but they oversimplify things with each entry, right? Like, take Morrowind to Oblivion. They dumbed it down quite a bit, but Oblivion's still great. Then take Oblivion to Skyrim, and Skyrim dumbs it down so much more. And don't get me wrong, I still love Skyrim. But Skyrim was sort of the tip of the iceberg with that problem of Bethesda really making games fucking stupid and simplified for fucking normies. But sort of bouncing back to the microtransaction thing, I hate that, like, the concept of games as a service, that they constantly need to be updated and have new shit put in. That can be fun. MCC got a lot better with updates, I'm not gonna lie. Master Chief Collection was a fucking mess at launch. But, like, I remember a few years back when they said they wanted to keep Halo alive for, like, the next 30 years as a games as a service. Like, the concept of games as a service, to me, the logical conclusion of that is that games become like a streaming service where you subscribe to it. Like, Game Pass is already kind of that, right? And I fear that one day that will be the only way to play games, that you won't be able to own games anymore. You have to be a part of a streaming service to play the fucking games. Now, right now, you can still buy games even when you have Game Pass and shit. And I hate that, like, Game Pass is so necessary now because, again, there's no such thing as Xbox Live outside of it. Although, then again, live services are already part of that problem. They've just been around a lot longer, so I guess I didn't get as angry at it, right, as a concept. But it's an evolution of it, where things just become increasingly worse. Like, again, the idea of trying to update it with the technology so that they can keep making profit. Like, from a business perspective, I can understand why they do it, but it's not going to make a good product. Games as a service is such a fucking scary and stupid concept to me as someone who wants to play video games, right? And on the subject of updating things, like, I don't really see the need to constantly keep upgrading and updating things, because at a certain point, I think that things are actually starting to get worse with the way games look and feel just because of their trying to be realistic all the fucking time. Like, again, every game now that comes out requires, like, Windows 10 or later if it's released on, like, Steam or, like, a mainstream platform. And if you guys know me, I'm still running Windows 7. Like I said, I'm a stubborn bastard. I'm riding this bitch till it can't no more. Or like how most games now, like the games that come out on console are typically PS5 only, and pretty much exclusively all Xbox games now are just Series X and Series S. They're not going to play on an Xbox One or an Xbox One X or S. Which is really irritating, because to me, like, when you look at all the new graphics they keep updating, like, at a certain point, there's a certain aesthetic that it just doesn't look good. Like, they try so hard to make it real that it makes it kind of uncanny and look less real to me, you know what I mean? Like, to me, the characters in, say, Fallout 3 and New Vegas, I keep using Fallout as an example a lot, but they look more like people than the generic, weird skin-textured, fucking far-apart-eyed abominations that exist in Fallout 4. Like, there's a certain point of aesthetic where I think that we're fine to not just keep upgrading. Like, the constant need to make things new and fresh can be fucking too much. Now, let me be clear, when we're talking ideas, when we're talking stories, when we're talking, like, writing, I'm all for being new. Obviously, I don't want us to just keep recycling things, because that's where we end up with the opposite problem. Because it's funny, because graphically, we're just trying to push and be more real and generic, right? But story-wise, they're just recycling the same shit with all these remakes. So it's kind of the worst of both worlds. I do like that PlayStation is still releasing some games on PS4, because again, I don't have a PS5. I mean, there is PS5s in the house, but they're not mine. Because my cousin has a PS5, but it's in the other room, and I don't really want to use it. I also think PS4 just has a better fucking interface than PS5. And hell, the convenience of console is less than it used to be. Like, consoles are still more convenient, because you know that a game made for a console will work on it. But now you have to actually install the game on the console like you would with PC, and it's been that way ever since, you know, Xbox One, PS4. And granted, you had the option to install games on 360, but it was never a necessity. Except for with, like, GTA 5. That was, like, one of the few that required installation. And it's funny, because, like, indie games, there are a lot more good indie games than there are good AAA games in this day and age. But even indie games have become, you know, plagued with a lot of the same problems. Like, obviously, I like indie games. There's a lot of indie games I really like. However, there's a lot of games that once they reach a certain point, can you even really call them indie anymore? Like, is Deltarune really an indie game? Is it really? Think about it. Think of how mainstream Undertale is, and how mainstream Deltarune is because of that. it's not a fucking indie game anymore. Like, it's not released by, like, a big studio, maybe, but Toby Fox has made fucking bank on those games. And they release on, like, all major platforms, and everybody never shuts the hell up about them. Like, there's no way to really think of them as, like, an indie game anymore, other than the fact that they're not released by a AAA studio. However, they have deals with studios to release things, so it's not like they're completely out in the woods either. And again, I'm saying this as someone who does like those games, even though there are criticisms I do have of both of them. But they aren't necessarily indie, whereas, like, there's a lot of other games out there that would be more indie. You know, so I don't know. To me, like, people will use the term indie game kind of erroneously a lot of the time with shit like that. Because, again, these games like Undertale and Deltarune specifically are super fucking mainstream now. And again, they also have some of the worst fucking fan bases out there. Not to mention, like, gaming now, like, requires you to have all sorts of launchers and shit. Like, on PC, obviously, there's Steam, and that's, like, the big one. There's also GOG, but GOG, you can actually play the game without the launcher, which is pretty cool, I guess. Like, that's one thing that actually is better about GOG. But then, you know, there's, like, Epic Games and shit like that have their own launchers. Or, like, as much as I love Doom Eternal, you still had to have a fucking, what, a Ubisoft account? Or was it an EA account? I can't even remember. No, it was Bethesda.net, right? It was a Bethesda.net account. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking Ubisoft or EA. Doesn't matter. Point is, you had to have a fucking account on Doom Eternal, even though it's a single-player game. Like, you can still play it without being online, but it's just this annoying extra step at the menu. Or there were games like The Crew, which couldn't be played offline, even though it was a single-player racing game. And I don't even think you can play that game anymore. I think it's completely, like, inoperable now, isn't it? And hell, this isn't a game thing, but it is related to gaming consoles, right? Because Xbox Video's dead now. Like, you can't buy shit on it anymore, unfortunately, because Xbox Video is a little nostalgic for me, I'm not gonna lie. That's how I watched a lot of South Park back in the day, was buying random episodes on Xbox Video. But back in the day, you could download the Xbox Video to your 360's hard drive. But on Xbox One, it doesn't let you do that, so you have to always be online, which is really fucking gay. And of course, tying in with, you know, the stupid propaganda and shit in games now, is the fact that a lot of games, when they do re-releases and things, will censor things, and stupid little things, too. Like Lisa the Painful censors a couple of race jokes that aren't even super fucking hardcore in the quote-unquote definitive edition. Hell, the definitive edition of Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, which is the only version I've played, removes some stuff, too. Like, it removes the ability to uncensor the nudity, which, you know, is fine. I wasn't gonna do that on stream anyway. And it's just a fucking slideshow, so it doesn't really fucking matter. But they also replaced some of the other screenshots for some reason, like the random images in that game. Or like how they cut out certain lines of dialogue in AVGN 1 and 2 Deluxe. Or completely removed all of the stuff from the AVGN movie in it. So not only is there stupid new, you know, messages, quote-unquote, being pushed in games, but they're also removing shit in the name of censorship for the message trademark. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the problems I have with modern gaming, there are, you know, overlap with the problems I have with modern media in general. And just sort of with the whole, like, advancement of, you know, technology, too. There's a lot of problems that come in these different mediums with that, right? But gaming does have a lot of unique ones, like, you know, microtransactions, more of a push towards multiplayer, making multiplayer way less social and much more focused on things like esports. There's a lot of different problems I have with it. That doesn't mean that there aren't modern games that I like, because obviously there's a few. Like, I love Doom Eternal, I love Yick. As I said, I do like Undertale and Deltarune, even if I am getting fucking sick of seeing memes of it everywhere. And there is also some gay shit in that, quite literally, but, you know. So obviously there are a few modern games here and there that I like, but most of the time I don't really get excited for new games when they get announced. I'm not excited for things like GTA 6. I'm not excited for the next Elder Scrolls or Fallout. Like, to me, a lot of the things that I like, I just don't want to come back. Like, the thing that would get me excited would be like fucking like if Yick got another game. Like honestly, like Yick is like the one that I think of the most now. I do need to play Doom the Dark Ages. I have heard, you know, that that's good too. I've heard it's not as good as Eternal. I've heard mixed things on it, but I do want to play Doom the Dark Ages. But I don't give a shit about the Halo remake. I don't give a shit about Postal 2 Redux. Like, I'm worried that they're gonna fucking ruin it because, you know, are they gonna modernize Postal 2? Are they gonna remove anything? Are they going to change? Like, it might be good. They might add in shit that'll make it good. I'm not going to pretend that they're not, because even with Running with Scissors making stupid comments on Twitter, they've still made good games. Like Postal 4, you know, it was clunky, and it was not as good as Postal 2 for sure. It was still a fun game that I enjoyed playing, and Postal Redux was a fucking great re-release of Postal 1, although it did also have some changes, like, weirdly, the protesters don't have signs in Postal Redux, which I don't know if that was some sort of weird narrative thing that they were trying to push. I don't know, because then Running with Scissors also posts some vaguely right-wing stuff too sometimes. I don't really know or care what their stance is as long as they make a fucking good game. But I am worried that they are going to change Postal 2 and remove things or something. Like, are they going to try and, like, tone it down or anything? Because everyone's a soft pussy now. And, like, things are shifting back away from that nowadays a little bit. But, again, as I've said before, I don't know that it's the massive shift that people like to say it is either. Or that companies really care, because there's still going to be pandering and dumb shit. We'll see how it goes, but also, again, with the fact that everything is released on newer versions of systems that I don't have anymore. Like, I do have an Xbox Series X in the other room, but it's the one that we use in the TV room, and I hate dragging it in here, and it doesn't have a ton of space on the hard drive anymore. That's what I use to play the Oblivion remaster, for instance. But, you know, with how stubborn I am with, like, all my fucking shit that works, because that's another thing about me. I'm all about functionality. Like, if I buy something that works, why the hell should I have to give it up for a new version just to get all the fucking fancy bells and whistles? Now, I guess you could argue that, you know, some games require that, but there's a lot of games that are made now that definitely are not even technologically that big of a step up. They just artificially put that little fucking, you know, planned obsolescence there for the older shit. Anyway, I'm rambling on now. I don't even fucking know what point I'm trying to make anymore. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This has been Fugitive Red-Eye. Have a good one. Toodles.
I'm a bit of an elbow man myself, actually. Bit different, bit weird.
Not sexual.
I'm gonna fucking die here, Jack!
Nagumo, wait. What about your parents?